Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning, I'm Ali Falla here with your 12 p.m. news. The Cloverdale Rodeo and Country Fair is expanding one of the region's longest-running May long weekend traditions. Reporter Andrew Chen has more.
This year, the fair has more than 100 artists across 7 stages, up from about 65 artists last year. Organizers are also adding drone shows, freestyle motocross, and bringing back a demolition derby from the event's past. Country Fair Committee co-chair Patrick Peters says the changes are meant to bring in new visitors while keeping rodeo weekend familiar for people who grew up with it.
So it's all part of an effort to just make the fair bigger and better, keep it relevant, and just try and attract more people. It's a great tradition that we want to keep alive.
The fair runs through the May long weekend in Cloverdale. Andrew Chen, BCIT News.
BCIT Farms are helping with the World Cup grass. The farm's aid is with the real grass at BC Place for the World Cup. Reporter Trevor Weinberner has more on this.
With the typical turf at BC Place for the Vancouver Whitecaps games, that will change in time for the World Cup. A grass field will be implemented during the World Cup. During the World Cup, BCIT Farms will be providing the grass that will be used for the World Cup. This is big news for players that play outside of North America. Players were not willing to play on the turf because they were worried about injury. This was a big deal after soccer star Lionel Messi didn't come to Vancouver to play on the turf. Trevor Weinbrenner, BCIT News.
A new study has been released showing that almost a quarter of avoidable food waste comes from outdated practices regarding best before dates. Reporter Izzy Morgan has more on how consumer confusion is throwing away billions of dollars.
A new report by Second Harvest, a food rescue organization based in Toronto, shows you may be sending your snacks to an early grave. According to the study, 23% of avoidable food waste, worth approximately $12 billion, is linked to misunderstandings regarding food coding. The CEO of Second Harvest, Lori Nickel, explained that many Canadians don't understand the difference between best before dates and expiration dates. Best before dates refer to when a product may begin to lose its freshness, not when they should no longer be consumed. Izzy Morgan, BCIT News.
Honda Canada says it has indefinitely suspended its plans for a new EV plant in this country. This plant had the potential to create 1,000 jobs. As the Japanese automaker looks to reduce its losses, Daniel Ross of Auto Insight's Canadian Black Book Company says this seems like a short-term move. Elon Musk is accusing co-founders of OpenAI of double-crossing him and stealing a charity by turning OpenAI into a for-profit company after he left. But OpenAI says Musk knew about the company's future plans and only sued after failing to become its CEO. These arguments are expected to get over today in the landmark OpenAI trial. Here's ABC News law professor James Sample.
Elon Musk's lawsuit essentially says that Sam Altman and the OpenAI team turned what was supposed to be exclusively or at least primarily a nonprofit into one of the biggest companies in America on a for-profit basis. Sam Altman and the OpenAI team say that Elon Musk is essentially a sour grapes individual who had an opportunity to stay with the company, who himself saw the need for a for-profit model, and who left under really bitter and unpleasant terms.
More updates on President Trump's visit to China. At a meeting between President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, Xi told Trump China and the US should be partners, not rivals. On the other side, Trump called Xi a great leader, but tensions are still there over the issues of Taiwan and Iran. In weather, Burnaby is going to be partly cloudy today with temperatures fluctuating around 15 degrees. That was all for today. Have a great day.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good afternoon, I'm Jana Ali, and these are your sports headlines at 12:10. Here's what's happening this afternoon. Earlier this morning, Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim, along with the province, federal government, Musqueam, Squamish, and Tukwila Nations, and PAFCO, announced in a joint statement that they're working with private partners to keep the Whitecaps soccer team in the city. The group says they're working on improving the game day economic model at the stadium, but they do not identify the private investors. It also says they're advancing work on a potential new stadium. They're committed to keeping the Major League Soccer team in Vancouver for generations to come. The Whitecaps team has been on sale since December 2024, and an investor group recently submitted a bid to MLS seeking to buy this club and move it to Las Vegas. In the NHL, the Canucks are set to make a major announcement regarding new leadership roles at 1 p.m. today. This news comes after the organization fired former general manager Patrick Allvin back in April, after the team finished dead last in the league with a 25-49-8 record. The Canucks president of hockey operations, Jim Rutherford, also left his position on May 6th, saying he'll step down from his role following next month's draft and become an advisor instead. Rutherford has said the search for a new general manager has involved more than 15 candidates. The Montreal Canadiens and Buffalo Sabres are set for tonight's Game 5, with their second-round playoff series tied 2-2. Montreal fell 3-2 on home ice Sunday, but has not lost back-to-back games at any point this spring. Canadian winger Josh Anderson says the belief remains high in his team's soccer room.
We have all the confidence in our group, especially the way that we've been playing as a team, and going into this series, I like the way we handled our play 5-on-5 and what we can create in the offensive zone. And I think we've had a lot of looks in this series.
Game 6 goes Saturday night in Montreal. Game 7, if necessary, will be back in Buffalo on Monday. The Minnesota Wild lost a chance to advance to the Western Conference Finals of the Stanley Cup after losing 4-3 to the Colorado Avalanche in overtime last night. The Avalanche will face the Vegas Anaheim winner. Vegas leads that series 3-2. The Edmonton Oilers have fired coach Chris Knobloch after losing in the first round of the playoffs. Knobloch guided the Oilers to consecutive trips to the Stanley Cup final after taking over as a mid-season replacement when Jay Woodcroft was fired following a bad start in November 2023. They are now set for the sixth coach in 12 seasons since Connor McDavid entered the NHL and became the best player in the league alongside MVP Leon Draisaitl. General Manager Stan Bowman dismissing Knobloch seems to indicate he will remain in his job along with President of Hockey Operations Jeff Jackson. Now in the WNBA, the Toronto Tempo scored its first ever WNBA win. Tempo forward Maria Conde says last night's 86-73 win over Seattle was the one to keep building form too.
Amazing, especially for the fans. I think they show up every night. The other day we were sad that we couldn't get it for them, but tonight was just special. First win for coach, for the team, for the country, and I think we just gotta keep building on this.
Conde finished with 16 points off the bench, while Marina Mambre scored 26 points and made 6 3-pointers in the historic win. In the NFL, the full NFL schedule will be released Thursday night, completing the list of 272 games over 18 weeks. The season kicks off on September 9th, when the Seahawks will raise their Super Bowl banner. It'll be the second time the NFL season opens on a Wednesday. FIFA announces Super Bowl-style World Cup final halftime show featuring Madonna, Shakira, and BTS. The World Cup final will feature a star-studded halftime show, and it was curated by Coldplay's Chris Martin. The defense minister of Israel has criticized Barcelona's teenage star, Lamine Yamal, for his waving of a Palestinian flag during celebrations of the Spanish League title win. Minister Israel Katz has written on X that Yamal's waving of the flag of Palestine incites hate against Israel. That was your sports headlines at 10:40. I'm Jana Ali, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow. It's not 10:40. It is 12:15.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you.